Like we were talking about that one time. I mean, we were trained to be quiet.
Yeah.
When you have a family, women
Quiet
are like,
and quick.
why are guys so quiet? Because we've been beaten off for like 10 years before we ever move out of our parents' house. And you can't make any noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Brittany. Oh, Brittany. Wonk, wonk, wonk. What are you doing in there? Algebra. Multiplying. They just turned 3 into 6.
Yeah.
Watching a video. Worried about it.
I'm wiping a civilization off my chest.
You want to know what happened to the Mayans?
3 million of them right there.
This many Jews haven't died since the Holocaust.
Oh, shit. You're like, Holocaust. She's like, well, you're fucked up.
I'm gonna finish this 3-minute video if it kills me. God damn.
They're escaping. Yeah.
If you gotta ask, it is.
Howdy, friends and neighbors. Here we are with episode 34.
Live in living color.
Oh, yeah. B&J on the rocks.
I don't know. Is this picking up all right, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Testy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
As long as we're good.
Just don't mess with it. You're
Just
good.
don't shake it.
Just don't shake it. Oh, man. Little
Welcome
change
back.
of scenery.
Yeah, a little change of scenery today.
Yeah.
It's hot as hell, though.
Yeah.
I think it was going to be hot no matter where we did this.
Yeah, definitely.
I really do.
Yeah.
So, but now I think we're facing the camera, which is odd because you're trained with respect, so eye contact.
Right.
But so we're going to be doing this, I feel, a lot already.
But if you watch a lot of videos, even with 2 people, they're looking at the camera.
Right.
So it's like, I kept thinking maybe we'll move to this eventually.
Adjust it.
And, but yeah, I agree. The conversation needs to be, face to face. But
well, now everybody can see our dad bods and us sweating through our shirts.
I think I look better from head on than I do from the side. From the side, I'm like,
frankly, I think
man,
I'm at my best in the dark.
That fucker's thick. Anyway.
So as you can tell, we've already been
We're
into libations.
We're into it.
We ate. We've sat up here and sweat for what, like an hour and a half now?
Yeah.
And then kind of adjusted
By
stuff.
the time we got everything moved around.
We brought the bitches here, I don't know. So,
whose ass is that?
Yeah, whose ass is that? This cutout has a back end to it. And I took a snap one time of a girl I was dating at the time goes, "Who's there? Who's at your shop?" I was like, what the hell are you talking about? There's a cardboard ass. I was like,
Yeah.
I wish she was here.
Right?
I Donner party her.
My Donner party. Yeah, that's right. Now explain the Donner party again.
Okay, so
Or what we are now considering the Donner
considering the
party.
Donner party. So in our conversation, and maybe you can put a snippet. I don't know if it got recorded or not.
We had a visitor.
Wade from Gibson, stopped by and his girlfriend, and we somehow got into joking around about porn, and you said something about I just wiped
Wiped off
that.
a civilization off
Wiped
my chest.
Yeah, wiped the civilization off my chest. I said, yeah, I was like, that's, like I have this many Jews haven't died since the Holocaust, and then for some odd reason, Wade was here and his girlfriend was here, and she's got a big old set of hooters on her. I mean, way to go, Wade.
Yeah.
And I said, when a girl shoots, or when a guy shoots on a girl's chest in porn, it's kind of like the Donner party. It's a bunch of people stuck between 2 mountains, and then they get eaten. So from now on, that'll be the
it's a
Donner party.
Have you had your Donner party lately?
Eat me, fine. Eat me.
Eat me.
Or about 1.7 million of me.
Eat all
whatever.
of me.
Yeah. There's about 3 tablespoons there. I don't know how many that is, but that's at least, that's an Aztec sacrifice,
exactly.
at least.
If that ain't get you into heaven.
Yeah, I don't know what will.
God, I don't know what
Yeah.
will. My God.
I think that's what the Mormons no, the Mormons are the money deal, right? Is it the Mormons? I can't remember. Church of Lazarus, I don't remember. There was a
The Mormons, they got,
Jehovah's Witness. They were the ones about the money, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because when I lived in Columbia, there's a guy that always dressed super nice. He was balding, but he was in the middle of a midlife crisis, and he had a white Trans Am. It was triple white with a white top convertible and white leather interior.
Wow.
And his license plate said Jehovah, and I'd see him like 3 or 4 times a week, going to work and shit like that. must have lived in the same area I did. Anyways, I was one of my bosses was part of the Church of the Nazarene or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, the Jehovah's base a lot of their religion and getting into heaven over how many people they recruit and what the money is or something." If that's true, I don't know. I'm not here to argue or get sued. I'm just saying that's what I remember him saying. Yeah. So I was like, well, that must be a really shitty way to be like religious. Like at night when you sit down to pray, instead of praying, you're counting your money in your wallet. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, shit. No cheeseburger for me tomorrow. You know? Whatever. I don't know. It really brings that whole saying, the guy with the most toys at the end wins or whatever.
Hey.
As we sat in here.
You know, hey.
Yeah, whatever. In my defense, I inherited some.
Yeah. And maybe
along
getting
with
rid
a
of a
very
couple.
girthy penis. Luckily, neither one ever gets me laid. Motorcycle or penis.
Well.
Trying something new tonight.
What are we drinking? It's
what is this? Just a little Mexican sunrise.
Mexican sunrise, I think. There's got a couple different names, I believe. But what it is Corona. It is tequila.
Talica.
It is
Orange
juice.
Some grenadine.
A little grenadine.
And
some limes.
That's actually not... you know, when we said that, when we started out as Mexican sunrise, I'm thinking of the Eagles' Tequila Sunrise, but like Cheech and Chong singing it. Just another tequila sunrise.
Hey, man.
Mom and Daddy teach me, try to tell me how to live. Da, 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 da.
It's pretty good, though.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah. With the heat and the liquor, I can definitely feel it.
Yeah.
Kicking in a little bit.
I might just do straight Corona next time.
Oh, no, I'm getting shit-faced.
You getting shit-faced?
I'm getting shit-faced.
I got to work tonight, so.
Oh, well, I got to work at 4, but it'll work out. Hey, Mr. Officer.
Yay.
We got an overhead door open behind y'all. You can't see it, but the traffic can sit here and see us talking to a camera with microphones like a couple of middle-aged narcissists, so. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We got the lights out and everything.
Yeah.
We're like, if those guys aren't stuck on themselves.
Yeah, really. I bet they jerk off in the mirror. So
what?
It's cheaper than porn. Can you? Okay. So a couple years ago, I installed some new closet doors in my master bathroom. Right.
Yeah.
My closet for my bedroom is in the master bathroom. They're sliding doors, and I replaced them, or they were bifold doors, and I replaced them with sliding mirror doors because I thought it'd be nice to have a full-length mirror so I can be completely disgusted at myself when I'm sitting on the shitter and I'm looking at myself in this full-length mirror going, God, you're getting fat.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I
here's
have had
the thing.
one house had a mirror in front of the toilet, and I was like, why?
Why?
Why do we do this?
Why would you do that? Yeah. It was a horrible decision. And now all I think about is, like, if I'm in the shower, I'm like, no wonder women aren't like, they watch lesbian porn? Or they go the other way? Because I don't like catching a glimpse. Like, I have to avoid eye contact in that mirror if I'm jerking off in the shower. Because I'm like, oh, God. It's like walking in on a zombie eating its, like, guts or something. You're just like, oh, that's disgusting.
You walk out and make eye contact with yourself, and you go, you're a sick fucker.
Yeah. And don't ever say it, because that just makes you jerk off harder, because you're a sick fucker.
You are a sick fucker. Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah. Who's your daddy? I am.
You love this sick fucker. Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, you're fucking Norman Bates in the shower by yourself.
And now that Amazon will deliver packages inside your house.
Oh, they will?
They will, yeah.
Why would you?
I wouldn't do it.
Hell no.
But you can allow them to do it. They'll bring them inside. Well, porch pirates.
So you just leave your door. So you leave your door unlocked.
I think it's one of those, like a realtor thing where they have a thing that'll let them in.
Or maybe
But,
the Alexa, the door locks. They got the new smart door locks.
Yeah.
Like, I am all about technology.
Amazon owns the fucking world now.
Yeah.
So.
You remember that movie Wall-E?
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be. Only it's gonna be Amazon.
Amazon.
I thought it'd be Walmart years ago, but it's Amazon.
Not for lack of trying.
Yeah. But I mean, some of these new things are neat. Like all the, you got the thermostat. You can like speak to your Alexa in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Alexa, turn the temperature down. You know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then lock the front door and your light switches. You can do it from halfway around the world on your phone and shit. But like, there's a point to it that I'm just really creeped out about.
Yeah. Now I start getting lots of mysterious ads.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I haven't searched for this. I talked with my son about it like an hour ago.
Right.
And now I'm getting emails about it.
Well, I was talking to somebody about
Okay.
about people taking, what was it, vitamin D and zinc for like to prevent this corona shit, you know. And as I look at the bottle, and all of a sudden I was getting advertised for natural made vitamin D, and I was like, it's just creepy.
Oh, dude.
Like,
Speaking of Corona, I tried searching up different drinks to make with Corona. You know?
Right.
Type into YouTube, Corona mixed drinks, anything.
Oh,
you get
God.
like a million coronavirus things before you ever get to a fucking beer anymore.
Right.
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I'm so tired of hearing about this shit. I mean, seriously, this corona shit is just... And don't get me wrong, I and call this a horrible theory, but I view it a lot like anything else. Sometimes the world needs to cleanse itself.
Right.
We're overpopulated to the point in a lot of regions of the world. Our population has tripled in the last 50 years. I mean, tripled.
Yeah.
How is our world? Can you imagine living in a world where there was a third of the people? That means in a town like this or Maryville, Maryville's population is what, like 10,000?
Yeah.
There would have only been like 3 or 4. And here in Savannah, there's only like 5-something thousand. It'd be like 2,000. Can you imagine living in a world where when you're driving down Highway 71, there's just fucking nothing?
The freeways open up. You don't have to wait to
yeah.
get into the doctor anymore.
Oh, I was talking to an old guy, and he was like, I remember when they built 29. He goes, you could drive from St. Joe to Kansas City, and he goes, you might see, a couple dozen cars. He goes, now it's bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
And he's right. I mean, what are you going to do with these cities when the interstates need to go 5 and 6 lanes and there's nowhere to expand to? Keep building bypasses?
Right.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? I mean, we're just, and I hate to say it, but I think Corona was supposed to kill off some people.
It's the Earth's way of getting things balanced again.
It's nature's way. It just is what it is. And while I don't want to die, do we ever really have any control of that?
Right. Well, and everybody thinks that they're the ones that... I'm better. I'm not the one that's supposed to die,
Right. Right.
I'm not that dumbass on the road. Well, maybe you are.
Don't even get me started.
It's not up to me to decide if I'm the asshole. It's up to them to decide if I'm the asshole.
Don't even. In the last couple of years, like, and this is a theory of mine. I think that a person shows their true colors of who they are as an individual
Right.
on the highway.
On the highway, behind the
And
wheel
you
of a car,
drove a
man.
lot too,
Yeah.
so you know.
Yeah. Oh man.
They might be the nicest person to your face in the grocery store, at church, to their spouses, to their kids. They get on the highway, and all of a sudden, they're the biggest asshole, selfish son of a bitch. They're driving 110, weaving through traffic, cutting people off.
Yeah.
With their headlights off in a rainstorm.
Oh, and I will give some fucking tongue lashings on the highway.
Oh, yeah.
Now, but it's got to the point where I realized, even like little comments, my son would pick up on it.
Oh, yeah.
And so then, like, we'd be driving, and somebody would do something not even weird, They'd pull out in front of us, but they'd be, 50 yards away. And he'd be like, oh, I don't know if I would have done that. And I'm like, well, as long as they get up to speed, I don't care.
Right. It's when they pull out.
It's when they pull out and
make
go
a left
20.
turn and 50 yards later.
To make a turn, yeah. And I'm like, so that now I've really had to, like, the last few years, I've really, like, calmed down in the car. Like,
tried to be conscious
consciously,
of it. Yeah.
like, calm down. Like, something will happen, and I'll be like, nah.
Save it for later when I'm masturbating in
What
the
a
mirror.
beautiful day. It's like,
So,
I'm not in a hurry.
you know where 29 gets off at Jesse's last stop out here, right?
Yeah.
To come to Savannah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's an overpass on an interstate. You get off the interstate, you make a right-hand turn, you go on a 2-lane road. What's to your left is a 2-lane, or it's a 4-lane highway, but 2 lanes going over a bridge, going to the north, whatever. So I pull up there off the interstate. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon. So there's cars coming home from work. I'm getting 6, 7, 8 cars behind me. It's starting to pile up. Trucks don't accelerate extremely quick. So I'm looking for a gap.
Yeah.
There comes a spot. There's nobody in the left lane. There's a car in the right lane, but she's clear on the other side of the bridge.
Right.
So I go ahead and pull out. I've made it a solid 150 yards away from that intersection. I'm rolling about 35, 40 miles an hour, which in a truck takes a minute to get up to.
Yeah.
I'm on the high side, so I've already shifted through 5 gears, and I'm on the other
in a
side.
50-mile-an-hour zone. So
Oh, yeah.
you're not even in the 60 yet.
Right. It's, and so I'm wheeling along. This car kind of pulls out. She's passing me at about a rate like this. So not real fast.
Right.
She blares her horn and flips me the finger. I'm like, the hell are you honking at, bitch? She goes on down the road. I get up to speed. It's a 60. I'm running about 64, 65, right in there.
Yeah.
I try and keep it under 65, but above 60, right in that area, because that's where traffic is. Hell, they're usually doing 70 or 75 through there.
Right.
You're just trying not to get run over at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
I come up on her as we're passing. Jack's in the passenger seat. She honks the horn and flips the bird again. I'm irritated. So as soon as I cleared her front end, I flipped my signal on and turned over. I was like, was it an asshole thing to do? Maybe. Is flipping an 8-year-old off? Yeah. It's fucking disgusting as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
So usually I don't answer the phone when I'm in traffic.
It gets better.
It gets better. We come into Savannah, the speed goes down. The phone number's on the back of the truck. It's forwarded to my cell phone.
Yeah.
As I start slowing down, the phone rings, and it's an unfamiliar number. I decide to pick up. This is literally what I said. Hello? The lady's like, is this McBikes? I was like, yeah. She goes, one of your drivers? I was like, well, that would be me, ma'am. I said, She goes, you pulled out in front of me and cut me off. I was like, did you have to brake abruptly? Well, no. I was like, then you didn't get pulled out in front of. I said, our government spends billions and trillions of dollars on infrastructure for 4 lanes of highway, so there's enough room for people to merge. I said, I don't have much of a choice in a truck. I just have to pick a spot and take it. And she starts going off, and I said, you know what, ma'am? I was just at the end of my wits. I said, you know what, ma'am? I said, you flipped me and my son off. I said, if you don't know how to negotiate traffic, I said, that's your own fucking fault. I said, learn to deal with it or get the fuck off the road.
Get the fuck out of it. Yeah.
And I hung up on her. Was it rude? Yeah. Did she initiate? Yeah. She calls back like 30 seconds later. She goes, oh, you're so eloquent with your speech. I said, oh, and you're such a sassy bitch, aren't you? Just calling a phone number on the back of a truck because you had to slow down and change lanes. Oh, God, that's just horrible. And she goes, oh, I understand what the problem is. You got a small penis. You got a small one, is what she said. And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, you got a small one. That's the problem, isn't it? And I was like, all this, and you're going to make it personal? I said, you want to get personal? That's fine.
You called me.
I was like, you called me. I said, what you don't realize is, I said, you called the phone number on the back of a truck. I said, I know what you drive and what you look like, and we live in a small town.
Yeah.
Creepy, I know, but that's the way I took it. I said, let me guess. I said, you've been divorced 2 or 3 times. You can't understand why he was fucking your best friend and left you? I was like, let me guess. Your kids never call you because they get tired of listening to you bitch and moan and piss and wail about every little thing. I said, and how many fucking cats you got? 3, 4, 5? I said, I mean 100 fucking cunts like you a day on the road that think you own the motherfucker. Click, she hung up. Now, here's the bad part. I had run fuel to the sheriff's department. And I had stopped at the sheriff's department to give them their ticket. I was standing in their parking lot having this conversation.
While Jack's in the truck.
And he had plugged his ears, even inside the truck. He's like plugging the ears.
Adult speak.
Yeah. Rink. And so I'm having this conversation, and I go inside, and I go ready to hand the ticket to 2 female dispatchers, and they're looking at me like I'm the most disgusting motherfucker that ever walked on earth. And that's when I realized the cameras outside must have microphones on them also. I was like, well.
Like, yeah, we just picked up on all
of that. And I'm like, well, life is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Between them, the psychotic neighbor at the duplex playing Baby Shark because I built a fence. Between the neighbors on the land trying to sue me for 5 foot worth of grass because
Yeah.
it's not fair. I'm just utterly tired of our COVID and our nation. And I still blame social media. It's more of this shit. I still blame social media.
Yeah.
But anyways, enough of that. That's a good 20 minutes right there, a fucking podcast where people are just going to hear me bitching about shit.
So I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and get another drink.
Listen, if y'all want to write an email on opinions, it's bjontheRocks@gmail.com. I would love to hear your opinion, although I can't honestly tell you. My neighbor told me I don't care about people.
Right.
Because I want to build a fence 5 foot over the property line on my side. I guess, you know, I don't know.
All you care about is money, Brent.
It's all I care about. Like,
That's all you care about.
yeah. There's people in the world that make things happen, I feel. And there's people in the world that just sit around and bitch and moan.
Yep.
You make music. You make this podcast. You take care of your family. You make things happen. You might not be Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I see that look. But you make something happen. You just don't.
Thankfully.
You don't work 40 hours a week, go home, sit in your garage, drink beer, and never spend time with your kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have a list of priorities of moral obligations you feel like, and you do something with that.
Yeah.
You give back to the world in some sense. You don't just go home and jerk your dick and sit there and watch TV and drink liquor.
But God, I would.
And then,
if I was single.
Oh, man. Dude, if I was single, I wouldn't be on this podcast. I'd be on Mexico. I'd be living off, like, this motorcycle, and I'd have dreadlocks in my pubes. I wouldn't even bathe. I mean, I might bathe. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. You gonna pass me the grenadine over there?
Yep.
This thing needs some color.
That's racist. But, you know, I just feel like there's people in the world that just sit around. What was the quote you gave me earlier?
Oh yeah, that's what that's what I was trying to think of while you were talking.
Right.
I was like, oh yeah, I got that quote, and then I forgot to say it, and then I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, I didn't make this up. This is I heard this from someone else, but it's basically that some people have a solution or a problem for every solution.
Right.
You
Doesn't
know?
matter what you do to try to appease them.
Doesn't matter what you do. You could come up with 100 ways to fix their problem. But then their problem is they can't go bitch to everybody else about it. You know?
It's about attention.
It's about attention. It's all about attention.
And I think largely, again, that comes back to social media. We've gotten to the point where we get 42 likes or some shit, or 120, or some people have their what do you call those influencers?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like us?
Right. Yeah.
Are we influencing you?
If I influence your opinion, you were a very shallow person. Because I am. So if you're influenced by me, that means like you're in the fucking kiddie pool. No offense.
And there's obviously no gatekeeper.
Yeah.
In your brain.
And I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, please argue with me, talk with me, fucking agree with me, don't agree with me. Suck my dick. Give me a hand job. Introduce me to your sister. I don't give a shit. Not you. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just.
Oh yeah.
I think if people concentrated more on their own bubble, we'd be better off.
Yeah. Those are good.
Those are good. Just another Mexican sunrise.
Oh.
Like
May not be the best thing.
I think we just found the title
For
to
a
this podcast. Just another Mexican sunrise.
Oh yeah, that's it.
I hate to tell you though, Josh has already claimed red, and I'm Andy.
Oh, okay.
So I guess you're gonna have to be. I don't even know. I don't remember many characters out of that movie.
Shit, I ain't seen it in probably 25
You can't be
years.
the warden and you can't be the prison guard because they think they both die. So don't do that.
Well, at this rate.
You could be the Mexican guy that gave us shelter, because that's kind of like you, a big heart, and you're going to take in 2 convicts trying to restart their lives.
That's right.
I mean, not like you would take in 2 convicts in real life with your family, but if you're in Mexico living by yourself, you might be like,
You would think.
these 2 seem like 2 decent guys. Like, maybe I'll have them sand my boat for a while.
It depends on if we're already friends. If I already know the convicts,
That could be.
and I know they're not gonna fuck my wife or hurt my kids.
Yeah, like bad checks, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't even want to say defunct on their child support, because that makes it sound like I'm defuncting on my child support. I don't want to make that. You're going to ask my ex. That's not the case at all.
No, your son is taken care of.
Yeah. He is going through that mouthy stage right now. Like, he's like, nah, I'm just going to ignore this. I don't want to do it.
He's how old?
8.
He's
Starting to come into his own.
He's trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a limit.
Where is it?
Where is it?
Right.
And
he doesn't so much do it with me. It's his mom.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've had to have that conversation of, you respect this woman, or I'm not going to respect you.
And, and that's hard.
It is.
Because, it's... I mean, I just can't imagine being a split house,
It's hard.
And it's like...
I'm not gonna, because you can't enforce everything you want to when you're not around.
Yeah. And it's like...
As a father to a son, especially.
Yeah. My kids know they always got to deal with their mother and me at the same time.
Right.
And
we try to present that. Like, we'll go out to dinner every, I don't know, a few weeks, something like that. And kind of like on a Friday night, usually on my weekends, because I've got to work, so it'll be later. And I'll just be like, why don't you come to dinner with us or something? And we'll all sit down and we'll talk together.
Yeah.
So he knows that we're on the same...
It's a family
team.
Unit.
Right. Right. So he actually asked her a couple weeks ago if she was his real mother.
Really?
Yeah. And I said, well, why is that? Why did that come up? And I don't know if he was talking to one of his friends or what, but basically, he was like, well, blah, blah. And I was like, Jack, I'm your real dad. She's your real mom. That's never going to change.
Yeah.
We care about each other. We'll always both love you. If somebody else comes in the picture, it's because the other person acknowledges that and accepts that, and it's somebody that's going to care about you too. But that will never take the place of your mother and father. And he's like, okay. I was like, and don't ever ask your mom if you're adopted again. I was like, I was in the room. You look like a raisin when you came out. Okay, you're her son. You might not be mine, but no, I didn't say that. But you know what I'm saying.
I know you're at least hers.
I know you're at least hers because I watched you hatch.
And I'm paying for it. So.
Right. You got my humor, and I'm paying for it. So
I've seen your son.
Yeah.
He's yours.
Yeah, no shit, right?
He is yours. No, I'm sure a lot of it is he's getting older. He's learning that there are these things,
right.
Adoption and,
well, and some of the other
some
people
of the kids
in his
aren't,
class
they have stepmoms that, and so he's probably just thinking, let me just check on this. You know? I don't know.
Well, and I'm sure even at 8, there's not a complete conception of what that is.
Right.
So.
But I know how moms take it.
Oh, yeah. It didn't go well.
I'm married to
one.
The
call I got was, I don't care what you do in private on your own time, but when you have our son, I would, and she was like, I don't mean to be a bitch, but I'm probably going to come across as a bitch. And I was like, uh-oh, this is going to be a good conversation. And
You're like,
went into
hold
that,
on.
and I was like,
let me take a deep breath and sit down.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? And she was under the impression that somebody else had been around him without me giving her the courtesy of saying, hey, I'm introducing him to somebody.
Yeah.
Which
this might be your real mom, son.
Yeah, which I would do if I was bringing somebody into his life. I think that's the courteous thing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
There's these people that's like, it's not my business. Well, when you're sharing a kid, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like going to a bank for a loan on a house, and you going, it's not your business what I make. Kind of is.
Yeah.
If you want to have that.
If you want this money.
Yeah.
that we're gonna expect to be paid back.
Yeah, I need to know where it's coming from.
I need to know where it's coming from.
It's the same thing.
Or at least I need to
if
know where
you-
it's coming from now.
Right. If
It
you
might
gotta-
change in the future.
Yeah, but right now, while we make this decision, shit
Right.
happens. We get that. But right now, we want to make sure it's a smart decision. And it's the same thing. I think if you got a significant, or you have a significant other you're looking to bring into your child's life, and you have in your co-parenting,
Yeah.
you owe that respect to the other parent of saying, hey, somebody new is going to be in his life,
Yeah.
and decent person, blah blah blah. Sucks great dick, has a great set of tits. I think he's going to be a good influence on our son.
He's gonna be all right.
Yeah. That's sarcasm, people. Don't be offended. And if you are, write
Again,
an email
the
to
email's
DJ on the rocks at gmail.com. It goes to John, so be very flagrant with your words. Speaking of,
Now I'm getting ads on that email, so every once in a
shit.
while I'm like, oh, I got a new email. Nope.
Speaking of, no word from this
No word from
mysterious
Claire.
lady in the veil, Claire.
Nope.
I'm really disappointed by that.
Maybe we scared her.
Maybe we did tag her down. I don't know. Maybe she felt like we were singing directly to her heart, like, you are the love of my life. We went Sammy Kershaw with it,
Yeah.
which wasn't the case. We just liked your tits, Claire. So bring it on back. Bring it on back. Oh, man.
What else?
I don't know. I mean, at this point, I've had 20 minutes of me bitching. So
My turn.
it's your turn. I'm passing the torch to you.
Here's
this is
something.
the Olympics.
Here's
you get
something.
the torch.
So, saw this meme the other day, and
This
and
meme.
me, this meme, and that wasn't even a meme. I guess it was just text on a background. So
Screenshot of somebody's conversation.
somebody, yeah, and so it was basically saying, do you think that cell phones and tablets are ruining kids' lives,
Yes.
or do you think you had a better childhood or whatever? And
Yes.
okay, yes,
Yes.
I will go ahead and answer.
At least
yes.
better eyesight by the time we
had-
were 10.
Right, exactly. But here's the thing: is while I agree that my childhood was much better, we could ride our bikes around all over town.
Oh, yeah.
Parents, I'm sure they're worried, but they ain't like today.
No.
You know?
And we went, well, I don't know about you, but we used to ride our bikes clear down to the river, like east of town.
Oh yeah,
And our parents would not have allowed that. But we still
But
did
we
it.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
That was that finding the limit and
Right.
push that boundary a little
Just
bit
a little bit.
further.
Yeah.
Oh,
we didn't get caught, but we never did it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did plenty of those kind of things, but yeah, we when I was growing up, we had our road was a dead end, and there was a cornfield at the end of it, and
God, that was a long time
a
ago.
long
then.
time ago. So I used to be able to ride down the end of the dead end and back. Right, there was 4 blocks, and then they took all that out and started building the subdivision.
Is that where,
Alco, where
what is it?
Edwards.
Right, but what's the subdivision called? Is it Golden Sunset or
don't
Golden
know
Acres or
what
some
they
shit
call
like
it.
that?
It's Victory Lane in Maryville. Victory
Right.
Lane, Edwards.
It's off of
South
Munn,
Alco.
right?
Yeah, off of Munn.
And it's where the house with the turret.
Across from Fox Cove. Yeah,
Yeah, and shit. Okay, so
Yeah.
that was all a cornfield.
it was all a cornfield.
That changed.
You
in
can
a
tell
hurry.
where the road changes
Oh yeah.
there at the end,
Yeah.
down there, and then it was like, okay, well. So then when they were building those houses, we used to go down there and and climb down into the basements, and throw mud clots at each other and just all kinds of shit. And then parents found out, and
Right.
they're like, "That's not our property. Get the hell out of here!" And I was like, "That's nobody's property."
Yeah. You're making some construction worker clean
I'm
up
a kid,
mud.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was pushing the limit a little bit. But we used to go down and hide in the cornfield. But
I don't think I would have had the guts to do that as a kid because we watched Children of the Corn.
yeah, it was at night. It was. I didn't go down there once the sun was going down. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
once the
no.
street light came on, it was
Get the fuck out of there.
back home.
Bail. Yeah.
But no, anyway, where I was going with that was my childhood was great, and I loved it, and I'm glad I grew up when I did,
Right.
because we had that, and then we also had some
Started
technology, you know. So
right. No, I agree.
what I was telling this person who posted it was basically, you know, your grandpa, when he was a kid,
Probably thought
You
the
know,
same thing.
his parents thought, man, these kids today, you know, they've got radio, you know, whatever.
Right.
And, you know, it's going to rot their brain just sitting around listening to that radio. And,
Having people from St. Louis talking to them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, go another generation and, these kids got TVs, it's going to rot their brain, you know.
I can see that.
And next generation is us, and they got the rock and roll music and this, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's another generation. Unfortunately, I don't like the segregation, the digital segregation,
that
as
we
we
talked
talked about
about,
before. But at the same time, you know that's the future. I mean,
Yeah.
these kids are going to be programming the robots that
Take our
take
jobs.
care of us.
You know, okay, so here's the shitty thing. You remember when they started talking about a decade ago or 15 years ago, comparing shows like Back to the Future, Star Trek, shit like that, where it was looking into the future 50, 100 years, and we were on spaceships or flying cars or whatever, and they're like, some of that technology has
35 years.
Yeah, you're right. We're Back to the Future.
We're back to the future.
Yeah.
And we didn't make it.
We didn't make it at all. Disappointing,
Yeah,
by the
very
way.
disappointing.
Marty McFly's got Parkinson's, and I don't see any flying cars. So, actually, there is one I think out that kind of has wings, but it's not like
Yeah.
like
it's-
Jetson style.
it's-
Yeah. So
If a drone is loud,
and they actually had one of those 50 years ago too.
make a car. Yeah.
They had a plane that would turn into a car, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like they say, technology gave inspiration to people to create these things. You know, like Star Trek with their freaking, and now we've got watches that'll,
Yeah.
you know, or earbuds or whatever. And I agree with that to an extent. I think with everything, okay, with food, if you salt it to an extent or sugar it to an extent, it becomes good. And then it gets to a point where it's too
Harmful.
much.
Yeah.
A mixed drink, same thing. It's either not strong enough or it's too strong. You know, it gets to that crossing point.
Yeah.
Cars,
This one's perfect.
yeah, this was good. Cars, kind of same thing. We have the point where we made them reliable. We put air conditioning and radio and shit like that in them. And now
Yeah.
we've got to the point where you can sit back and not drive it at all, which eliminates human error but creates a wide span of technological
Lawsuits.
error. Yeah, when you have sensors on a car that'll randomly go up and say your tire pressure's lower, you really got to trust that same system to drive your car. Like,
Yeah.
call me
Right.
nuts.
No.
Does it require? Do I think it would make some people better drivers? Yes. We talked about that already. But I
Yeah.
just think there's a limit. Like, and I get, you know, kids, next generation technology, yada. But, excuse me, we see these sci-fi movies where the world's overpopulated. We've got 100-story communities with grocery stores and everything else. There was like a Judge Dredd 2. Did you ever see that?
Not the second one. No.
Oh, it was one of those late night movies where you're up drinking by yourself.
The first
and it
one
was
was like.
it was horrible.
Ooh, wow.
Oh yeah, but it was horrible. It was a horrible movie. The second one, but there's these high-rise
I'm
apartments.
not sure if I saw the first one now, if it would be horrible too. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, but
was
it's
good
this
when I was
concept
12.
of the world's overpopulated. It's
Yeah.
full of buildings from every
dystopian.
square inch of land.
Yeah.
You know, people are growing vegetables inside of buildings and just shit like that. You know, where it's 100 stories tall and all this. It scares me because I'm not totally in doubt that that might be the future of our world. Like we were talking about earlier, COVID, I think, is a natural selection thing. Every once in a while, you're going to have something where Mother Nature says there's too much.
Yeah.
You know, the plague
Right.
was another example. They had too much population in one area. Sanitation got poor.
That's how I
People
look
died.
at global warming.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's
It's
like,
natural.
global warming. And while I would say, if there's something we can do about it,
Great.
maybe we should try.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm going, here's the thing. It's not saving the planet.
Right.
The planet is fine.
Right.
We're
it's doing,
fucked.
It's doing it. It's doing its thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are fucked.
It's the bigger object in the room. It's Mother Nature. They
Yeah.
call it Mother because You're essentially a child. You don't have
Yeah.
a choice. You're just along for the ride.
And it's a constant change.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Earth
We've
has been
got
changing.
dry years and we've got wet years.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
we've
same
been coming
thing.
out of the Ice Age for, a few
Right.
hundred years. Or
Right.
whatever. I don't know.
Whatever.
You look it up
Same
if you care.
concept. Fucking read it. It's on Wikipedia.
Let's go with 3,000.
Do we look like we have degrees in this shit? We're in a garage sweating our balls off drinking liquor out of plastic cups.
A couple
and they're
hours ago, I might have been able to give you an answer.
And they're not even red Solo cups. These are dollar shelf, Dollar General plastic cups.
They've even got measurements on the side. Oh, shit.
Maybe they're an upgrade.
Does that
from
say half a
Red
liter?
Solo cups.
Nice.
Maybe we should have used those when we mixed this.
No, I think I got it down now.
Red Solo cup.
Stop.
Slipped it in her butt. Let's have a party.
Fuck Toby Keith.
Can you hand me another Corona, speaking of?
Yeah.
I can reach the liquor and the orange juice. Yeah, Daddy, go deep.
There you go.
Thanks, sir.
Bottle opener.
Thank you. That's another thing. Are twist tops really that great? I'm satisfied when I crack open a bottle. Are you?
Yes.
You look like you got a Smurf scrotum on your back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's, that feels good, actually.
That's what she said.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I only brought 4, so
No, you're good. I think 2
it's
is
probably
probably going to be all right for
a good idea.
Because I've still got to drive home.
Me too. I'll sober up first, don't worry.
Yeah, don't judge fucking me. You don't know me.
The
You
last
just
time,
know my podcast.
the last time we got together in an evening and drank, not our iced tea episode, but the other one before that, the
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo Trace.
Uh-huh.
I felt like crap all night long, man. Because I went home, went to work,
Right.
And luckily I work in my home, and so I just got this dark room I sit in. It reminds me of when I was 12. Right? In a dark room on a computer in the middle of the night. But
Look at that.
it's beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful.
I love the pink stuff.
Just another Mexican sunrise. It's going to be my new theme song, I think. Oh, shit, no.
I know I spilt a little bit of that one too.
That's why I can't have nice things, John.
I know, right?
That's why I don't care about people.
That's why you got nice. What? Oh, anyway,
I stole that
this
bike.
is not our garage.
You remember that Rodney Carrington song where he's like, you ever buy a dildo? I bought a dildo home for my wife. I'm driving home. I get pulled over. The officer says, you know why I pulled you over? I said, this is not my car. What's in that bag? This is not my vehicle.
I stole
this
truck.
car.
I'd rather go to jail than to buying a weenie.
Oh, yeah. Jesus, imagine if your wife had been watching, like, big black cock porn or something. You had to go buy one of, like,
Oh, shit.
Nope. I'd be out.
Man, yeah.
I knew a girl like that
I don't
once.
know. At this rate, I'd be like, well, I guess as long as you're getting it somewhere. I don't know.
So I dated a girl that was
I'm
kind of
gonna
into
go
that.
No, I'm not joking.
And of course, I had no chance of satisfying this woman at all. But we're out in public with some of her friends at a bar, and she's like, God, I wish I had some big black cock tonight. And I'm like, would you shut the fuck up? We are in public. Like, I can get down with some kinky shit. You want to talk dirty during sex? I'm all about it. I only need to last that 3 or 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
What were you in a place where there might have been some big black cock?
Bernie's.
Okay, then no.
Well,
Maybe,
now.
depending on if school was in session.
So when Josh was up, we went to Bernie's. And even a couple years ago, like, you could run into people our age there. Like, it was a good, fair mix of generations there, right? No.
I feel like they've moved over to Shooters.
We went over to Shooters, and you remember Judy, our secretary in high school?
Yeah.
She was over there, came over and shared my drink.
She's come out to see me play several times.
Super nice lady.
I know. I don't like
But not somebody I'm going to take home at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? I love Judy. There was times where, like, she caught us skipping school. And she'd meet us leaving, and she'd be like, boys, and we'd be like, Judy, And that's all it was said. And she'd go inside and call our parents. She didn't tell the principal. We didn't get suspended. We just got our asses kicked when we got home.
Right.
That's it. No
Yeah.
big deal, right? Testing boundaries.
Yeah.
All we did was go down to Taco John's and get lunch and come back.
Yeah.
You know? But
Skipping school.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We were still back within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But nice lady. And out at the bar, she was a good time. She was joking around.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she danced with Josh, I think. And I can't dance, so... Anyway.
I can't dance.
I can't walk. Only thing about me is my girthy cock.
You want to find out? And
Write an email to bjontheRocks.com.
I'll forward it to you.
And as for
I don't want to
John,
know.
as for John. But yeah.
Speaking
So
of-
we were shooters, like I said, and there was
Oh yeah.
nobody. There was maybe 6 people from our generation, and I seen like 5 people that my parents used to hang out and drink with.
Right.
So I mean, it was a good time, but not exactly
What's-
somewhere you're gonna go and pick up some ass or something. You know,
Unfortunately, like I'm starting to feel like that's our generation now.
our parents.
Like I guess I don't know. When I go into a bar, if I see someone in their 50s, I'm like, I can sit with that person.
I will agree with that.
You know, I can have a conversation with that person.
Right, because I'm past the point of trying to pick up ass
Yeah.
every
I'm
time I go to a
not
bar or
there
something.
to-
Yeah. I just want to have a drink,
Yeah.
blow off some steam, have a good time.
Hopefully, we see some music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, music. I'm all about, yeah.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, this came to me. Speaking of Bernie's, I was thinking about this the other day. One time, it was after I was married, but me and TJ were up at Bernie's, and it was before they had the upstairs and all that. But some lady come in, and she was probably, we would have been mid to late 20s probably, and she was probably mid 20s, I want to say.
No.
So she comes strutting through the crowd, you know, and somehow pinpoint on me and TJ's table, right? We're in a booth across from each other, and she's like, hey, can I sit here? And I'm like, I mean, nobody else is, but why? Like, okay, whatever.
Free drinks.
Move along, right? Yeah,
Right.
right. That's what I was thinking. So she sits down. She's like, "What do you guys do? What do you know?" After about 2 minutes or so, she's like, "Hey, do you guys know where I can get something?"
Weed or coke or
Yeah,
something.
but she was using like
Slang.
slang that I had never heard. I'm like, I know some slang, but like she was like
Way out there.
way into it, and I was like, "What?" She's like, "You know, can I get some of this?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "You know, some of this, you know." And TJ goes, "He doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about. Get out of here." And I was like, "Well,
I love
okay.
TJ's. He's always been
Yeah,
blunt.
Yeah.
I used to kind of think he was a dick in high school, but
I
he's
think
just
it's just
honest and blunt.
yeah." But like,
Which is good.
Yeah.
We need that.
oh, some people do need
Yeah.
that. This lady needed it, but so she's like, "Ugh." Okay, so she gets up and walks off, and he goes, "She was an undercover cop," and I was like, "Oh, that makes sense, but why us?"
Right. Like you look like a couple
Like,
of fucking druggies.
Do I look like a druggie? I don't know.
You've always had the laid back look. I mean, maybe that could be perceived
Yeah.
for like
Well,
weed, but
You remember Justin Adamson? He
yeah.
always called me Eeyore because he was like, in high school, right? Because he's like Mackie. He's like Mackie. You're stoned. You're stoned. Look at you. You're stoned. And I'm like, dude, I have never done weed in my life. And he's
He
like,
was
all
all
right,
right. He
then
was an
you're
all right
just
cat,
Eeyore,
yeah.
all right, man.
now he was actually legit a pothead, wasn't he?
I don't know. I mean, I think he did, but
Right.
I don't think he wasn't as bad as some.
There was a kid named Paul. I'm not gonna name his last name.
I was
'Cause
thinking
I don't
of
wanna
Brian.
Taint anybody.
Brandon. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, that. Now he was.
Yeah. I'm
He
not
was
gonna use his last
almost
name,
like
but
he could get into the hard stuff. The kid I'm talking
think so,
about,
yeah.
Paul. I'm not sure if he was a grade below us or in our grade. I think he was in our grade. He still lives up there.
I think I know who you're talking
Super
about.
nice guy.
Yeah.
Fucking chill. And he's always been that way. Has he tried harder stuff? Fuck, I don't know. I think everybody tries whatever eventually.
Yeah.
You know? But he just seemed like a guy that smoked a little weed and chilled, and that was whatever. And I got no problem with that at all. But he was always good to me. He was always nice to me and shit.
Yeah.
There's people in our fucking high school that I can remember being huge dicks.
Yeah.
And then people that I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm the black sheep necessarily of like the family, but I'm the one that's kind of like, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be decent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
That goes for everybody.
Yeah. I don't care what you do. It makes no fucking shits to me. As long as you're decent to me.
Yeah.
I don't care. And I'm not even going to say I haven't known some people that have seriously fucked some other people up or over.
Yeah.
But I got along with them fine because they knew there was that mutual respect.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would rather have somebody that I know will fuck me up and has a history of fucking people up if you cross a line than be friends with somebody that is nice to your face, but as soon as you're sleeping on your stomach, fucks you with a drill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. No, one of the kids I was thinking of that, like, ended up being like a total burnout, man. His name was Derek. And,
redhead?
yeah.
He was
Dude,
super intelligent. He
was.
actually deleted me off of Facebook because I was conservative.
Really?
Yeah. This was like 2010-ish.
You weren't even posting shit.
No. I mean, I posted
Every
drunk
once in a while,
funny
but-
shit, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like
You weren't as bad as a lot of people.
I have
Holy shit.
no urge to get into like racial quote unquote conflicts and shit like
Yeah.
Obama 08, right? You think you're conservative, you hate black people. No, it wasn't anything about that. It was
Right.
just it's how I was raised, conservative.
Well,
Work
here's
hard,
my thing,
do
man.
right.
Like, I know a lot of people hate the president.
Right.
A lot of people hated the last president. A lot of people hated the president before, right?
A lot of people hate this
And-
president.
Right. and here's the thing is I'm completely fine with that. I never my thing was any argument I ever made was always against that person, the president, right?
Right.
It wasn't against everyone who voted for him. It wasn't against, everybody in that party,
Right.
Whereas, and I'm fine with anybody who says, Biden's an idiot, Biden does this, fine. But if you say, fuck Biden and everyone who voted for him, that's where I go,
Really?
delete.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I see where you stand.
Right. I'm not about
I'm not
hate.
required to be your friend on Facebook.
Right. You want to have a conversation, that's fine, but if you want to have a conflict and personally, because here's the thing, I don't care if you're conservative
Right.
or libertarian or liberal, whatever you want to call yourself. There is more going on.
As long as you ain't a commie.
Yeah, right. Excuse me, have you heard that? I just
I
had
just
a little
bumped the
bit of a
mic, so
Mexican sunset coming out
Either
there.
way, I think. Okay.
but like there is more going on in the political than we will ever see. Here a couple weeks ago, so I thought I resolved this land border dispute on the 12th of July, right?
Your personal land.
My personal
Okay,
land.
yeah.
On the 19th, there was a city council member. One of the individuals that was involved in this was not happy with the outcome and went to a city council meeting. Supposedly, I wasn't there, stated that I was threatening them because I said I was going to put a fence up on my land.
Yeah.
Not on the property line, like just 5 foot over on my side.
Yeah.
But to them, it was a threat. So he said I was threatening them. The city attorney gave them instruction on how to go get an attorney and fight for adverse possession. And then the paper noted, the paper just had to quip that I was on the city planning and zoning commission, which has
Nothing
to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I wanted to get that land rezoned, I wouldn't be able to vote on it. I would have to recuse myself, whatever, to the point where it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
And nobody, it's not like, I'm going to give you a handy if you vote my way. It just is what it is. It's right and wrong. It's 4 or 5 individuals that have an opinion and they vote on it compared to what the laws are. It's not even our personal opinion. It's like, hey, this is what the person wants to do. Is there anything in it about, no, then we have to vote yes.
Right.
It's an interpretation of standard laws. It's not an opinion-based thing.
Right.
That's all it is. But they had to put that in there. So all of a sudden in the paper, I'm the devil's right-hand man.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same way. I don't know if they're trained media-wise to do that, to sell. I don't know if that's what they learn in college. I don't know if that's what their bosses do. I don't know if that's what the editors change it to do. I don't know. But I do know that whatever we're spending, whether it's on a small-town simple thing like that, or whether it's a national level that gets printed in every newspaper, put on every channel out there, we never know both sides or the whole story.
Right.
It's how the media wants to sell it to sell more.
Yeah.
That's purely it.
Yeah.
So we're out here getting pissed and raising our blood pressure and making judgments and getting in fights with people that we care about or we've been associated with for 20 years over shit that in 2 years, 2 months, 2 weeks is not going to fucking matter. And we don't even have the whole fucking story on. Whether you're on your side of the table or my side.
Hell, if you look at both sides, you still don't get the full story.
No. Because
they still water it down with all the bullshit. Right? They still water it down with all the bullshit that they want you to hear, and not what's actually happening.
Pearl Harbor, Kennedy, 9/11, fucking all of it. You can get into 1400, conspiracy theories. We will never know. And it's probably something simple. Somebody stepped in a piece of bubble gum, hit a button, and fucked shit up.
And then went, damage control.
Yeah. And so they spouted off 6 different directions at media to confuse us.
Yeah.
So we're busy bickering with each other and not paying attention to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Funny thing, I watched a documentary on the Kennedy assassination. Have you ever been interested in any of this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so growing up, that was a big thing to me. Because we were taught Kennedy was like, tits on a board, right?
Yeah.
So
come a lot.
Right. Exactly. So there's a guy out there, and I can't remember his name. It was Henry something or other. He was in 1968, CBS, NBC, ABC, one of the top 3, because that was the only 3 channels we had back then, did some kind of a reset where they measured, and they had a target moving at 11 miles an hour down, same measurements, all this and that. Oh. And the guy was a ballistics expert, basically.
Yeah.
And he was the only one that was able to make that shot in under the 5.8 seconds that it supposedly took Oswald to crack off 3 shots and hit it. Of course, there's always been the lone gunman, the grassy knoll, and that, and all this. Yeah.
That was perfect,
right.
as perfect condition as you could get. You know?
Right. So, come to find out, all the conspiracy theories aside, they think what happened was Oswald had 1 shot, missed, and then they say the second and third shots came on top of each other. That's where the conspiracy theory lays in. The Zapruder film, the one that everybody knows, did not capture the second follow-up car. They claimed that the cars never quit moving. In the Zapruder film, we see the taillights come on, knowing that the Lincoln almost come to a complete stop when they heard the president say, "Oh my God, they've got me." The guy slammed on the brakes. The second car was less than 5 feet behind in a 57 Cadillac. Slammed on his brakes because those old drum brakes, Yeah. At the time, the AR-15 was only 2 years old. It had a malfunction in its design where the firing pin was like 11 or 12 ounces, and they reduced it to 8. But because the firing pin was heavy, it would have accidental discharges if it was bumped. The guy in a follow-up car was 40 years old. He'd only been with the Secret Service for 2 months, and he wasn't supposed to be hired because of the age gap. And they were like, the cutoff was like 32, right? They'd went out and got drunk the night before because they'd been on like 2 months of constant. So they stayed out drinking until 2. One of them had the brown bottle fuel. This guy flew. This guy was supposed to stand in for him. He was only responsible for fueling and waxing the cars. That was it. That was it. His only job. But guy was sick, so we sat in the back, had the AR-15 on the floor. Picked the AR-15, and you can see in pictures he's looking over his shoulder towards the book depository. Picks up the AR-15, car slams on the brakes, he bumps, and as the rifle comes down, they think the shot went through. And he aligns the trajectory up and everything. So they think what happened was the Secret Service had an accidental discharge. The bullet just happened to come as the gun was swinging down, as the rifle was swinging down, went over the windshield, hit Kennedy in the back of the head, 1 inch over from the spinal cord, 4 inches up from the base, exactly where it hit, because the bullets that Oswald shot were full metal jackets. They're designed to go through and come out the other side in one piece. The shot that killed Kennedy, including the fragments that were in his skull, were actually from a bullet designed to turn into shrapnel, essentially, which was the mark of a .223, which is what goes in an AR-15. So they think it was a cover-up because the Secret Service knew that whatever. Is that true? I don't know. But it makes you go, that's such a simple explanation of a horrible accident.
Yeah.
And they covered it up. The media, they let the media run with 6 different stories.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, after JFK came out, the film in 92 or whatever, Clinton came out with he created a temporary investigation that was to go back over those records again. Yeah. The Secret Service, 2 weeks before they were subpoenaed for their records, destroyed all of them. Why would the Secret Service ever destroy records on the JFK assassination?
Because there's a movie coming out.
Right. And
they were like, plausible deniability.
Right.
You know.
This will probably get taken off the air for all this conversation now.
We'll see. I might edit. I don't know. Anyway, but that's the same kind of thing happens every day in like corporate world, right?
Oh yeah.
So we're looking at ways we could, we want to back up our emails. We want to be able to get emails, old emails that got deleted and blah 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 blah. But then we're like, okay, but now, if lawyers find out, we can get all these emails.
We're fucked.
We can get subpoenaed to get all these emails.
Right.
Do you really want all your emails
clear back
in court?
Right.
How much do you want to just like trust yourself to save them?
Oh yeah.
Or yeah.
That's why I gotta admit, living in like Mexico or in the mountains, like, with limited resources and just being simple, sounds better every day.
It sure does, doesn't it?
Because if you took something you said at 18 and brought it back to yourself even now as a quote in random drunken conversation
oh man,
of an opinion you had at 18, and somebody just wrote it down and showed it to you, what's the likelihood that you would say, that dude's a fucking dumbass?
Yeah.
What's the likelihood of it? Seriously.
At least 50%.
At least, yeah, if not better for me.
I mean,
right? So,
I at least,
how would you like to be held accountable for something by today's standard
No.
that you said in 2001?
And that's why I got to look at everything as, okay, what generation did this person grow up in?
Right.
Exactly. What geographical area are they from?
Right.
Like John Wayne, right?
Right.
He had some what from today's standards you would call them kind of fucked up ideas.
Right.
But a dude that was born in, the early 1900s in Iowa.
Grew up in rural America.
Not
rural America by today's standards, like rural.
Old rural America, right?
Yeah, like no phone.
Yeah.
Porta potty or fucking.
I'm like,
in the back.
That seems
outhouse. Thank you.
pretty normal. That sounds like my grandpa talking, right?
Right.
And I'm like, so he gets a pass from me.
Right.
I don't.
A genius doctor in 1900 is a dumbass by today's standards.
Right. It's amazing, isn't it?
Totally agree.
If you judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, he's an idiot.
I don't even know what that means, but I agree.
Mark Twain.
Is that really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No. That's Albert Einstein.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you know supposedly he was like some kind of a sex fiend?
Really?
Yeah, supposedly fucked his cousin and shit. I don't know.
Interesting. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. We're just throwing shit out there.
Either way, I
I
finished.
finished.
I had to
Albert
get that
Einstein's
in there.
cousin. Genius. What are you doing?
Oh my god. What are you doing with that pencil? Oh my god.
God. Anyway.
So I just got an email from the school district about COVID regulations.
Yeah.
I'm
Mask
so utterly tired of this shit. I get it.
Well, I saw Kansas City went to a mask mandate.
Did they?
St. Joe's got to be close behind.
I'm sure. This one is.
Maryville,
Savannah.
Savannah. I mean, yeah.
I
Now-
will never deny that I'm thankful of them having those few months off of school so I can spend time with Jack. I will
Right.
never regret that. Will he remember it in 10 years?
He
Probably not.
he'll have some
He'll have
memory of
some, but not a lot. I
it.
don't.
He'll have a
think.
memory of a memory because we'll talk about it, right?
Right,
You know,
right.
we'll be like,
Yeah.
remember that time?
Yeah.
You know, and he'll be like, when he's 50, he'll be like, yeah, when I was a kid, we had to.
We
do
went
this,
through
you
polio.
know? Yeah, right.
But you know, I'm just so utterly tired of it.
Yeah,
With something, and I get it. There's some people that are very high at risk. I'm just a firm believer that the majority should never cater to the minority. I understand it's life and death per se. Am I going to go into a nursing home coughing with a COVID exposure? No. That's
Right.
just moral obligation, I think, at that point, not to expose yourself to people that, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like my mentor has cancer.
right.
I was exposed to COVID last week. I've tested negative 3 times in the last 8 days. I think I'm probably okay. That being said, I'm not going to wheel out to his house and lick his spoons. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But that being said, there is going to be some natural selection to this, and it is sad, but I'm so utterly tired of something with a, 98.9 or 99.8 survival rate. It's one of the two. It's like, if you have a weakened immune system, it's coming for you no matter what. There's no hiding from it at this point.
I'll be honest.
I think we're all going to get it.
I can't quote the number because I've seen several different quotes.
And who knows what's right at this
So,
point, because we're not doctors.
For me to throw it out there is, I don't know. But it's not just the flu,
No.
and the new variant seems to be worse.
I'm more worried about the new variant than I was the old one.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So,
It
Which
seems
we
to
knew was
spread
coming,
easier.
if you create a vaccine that creates an immunity, a virus will create a variant.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, they're like, well, the vaccine's not effective for the new variant. It is. It's just not as effective. It was 97% effective for the first
You're
one.
still going to get sick. It's
It's
less of a chance of
87%
dying.
effective for the second one, right?
you just have less of a chance of dying, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you might get it. You're not going to end up in the ICU, hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully.
Unless you got asthma or you're 80 with pulmonary artery disease.
Right.
Right.
Or,
Herpes.
I mean, there's
Syphilis.
There's
Congenital
It's amazing.
meningitis. Yeah! I don't know who that was. Not a clue.
Yeah, fuck it. Probably wait again.
If that was Wade, you should be home doing the Donner Party.
Donner Party. Wiping civilizations.
I hope she hears this, Wade.
Oh, man. Anyway, forgot where I was going with that. Basically, I don't know. I think there's a reason. I don't know.
Course of nature.
I'll be honest, I forgot what I was saying.
Just another.
I really
Mexican
tried to get back
sunrise.
into it. I tried to get
So
back
we were talking
into
about
it.
the vaccine, the
The
variants.
vaccine, the variants, whether or not. Oh,
Right.
okay, healthy people. There are so many people out there who seemingly are very healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and then something happens. They have a
Poof.
heart attack out of the blue, right?
Right.
Oh, you got lung cancer.
They don't
but
wake
you're so
up.
healthy. You've never smoked. You know. And there's been a few people that I don't know personally, but know of through other people, right? And who were apparently healthy
Right.
and all outward appearances.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how something's going to affect you, all right?
Right.
The virus got them, affected them in an adverse way, even though they weren't overweight, they weren't asthmatic, they didn't have lung cancer,
They weren't
They weren't a
old.
smoker, they weren't
Right.
old, they were young, appeared healthy people, right?
Right.
Died. So, and that's, that's just a few people that I know of.
Right.
Multiply that by the country, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, do I think? Obviously, I would be at more increased risk than you because I have asthma and I'm overweight. But
I don't
at the
know if
same
you've
time,
looked sideways lately, buddy, but
fuck you, fuck you.
and the horse you rode in on.
Do we need to do a side by side in front of this camera?
No.
I think they've seen
I mean,
it.
but,
Pants on.
I get where you're coming from on that. I totally do. I also don't ride my motorcycle with a helmet since they passed the law, unless I'm on a long trip.
Yeah, I don't wear a seatbelt
It's
unless my kids are with me.
every time I say goodbye to my son, I tell him I love him. I
Yes.
think that is the most we can ever do. And if you think you have more control than that, you're living in a fucking dream.
Right. Well, we've seen too many
Especially
times
the way
recently.
people drive these days. Check
Well.
yourself before you wreck yourself. Quite literally, people.
Yeah,
Fuck.
there's been a lot of those lately.
Yeah.
I mean, had
Yeah,
that
no
14-year-old
disrespecting.
kid up here.
Yeah, no disrespect intended to that last week. Because
Right.
I know there's a lot of people that are legit upset about that.
Yeah. And how he was riding, why he was out at night, I don't know.
No,
But you know what? It's fucking sad.
it is.
And fuck. But yeah, you're right. You don't know, and you'd have no control over it.
No.
I could wear a seatbelt. I could go the speed limit. I could
Eat
not
healthy,
touch my phone.
Run 3 miles a day.
Yeah, I could keep 10 and 2, eyes out the windshield.
Yeah.
I come over a hill and somebody's passing out of the blue on a no passing zone,
Yeah.
or texting on their end, and they're
Yeah.
in my lane. I'm done.
Right. And that's just the thing. I've seen people. If you come up to a stop sign and you're in a hurry and that vehicle is 10 foot away from passing that intersection, that does not give you the right just because you're in a hurry to pull out in front of them. I think if the world in general was more conscious of other people than they were of how many likes they got on their fucking Facebook status and how many people viewed their snaps, it would be a better place. I'm not saying it would prevent anything, but I just think there's a group mentality.
Now, wait a second. I've
Yes?
heard you for the last year harp
Uh-huh.
about only take care of your bubble,
Your bubble.
and now you're telling people to get out of their bubble and pay.
See, and here's the thing. No, I firmly
I'm
believe
just
in
giving
only
you
your
shit.
own bubble. But I'm not going to
My
be the
bubble.
person that if
My bubble.
if there's a person 5 foot behind you at the store, are you going to hold the door for him?
Yes.
There's a general.
I'm
there's
giving
a
you
general,
shit, man.
I know you are, but there's and here's the thing. It's the same thing that I told you about earlier with this neighbor that was like,
Yeah.
you just don't care about people. Now listen, if he was in a car accident and trapped in a burning car, would I try and pull him out? Yeah.
Yeah, until you got close enough to see it was him.
No, seriously, you
I'm
know what I'm
joking.
saying?
Yeah, I
But,
know.
you know, you're
No,
going
I
to be
totally
a generally
agree.
good person. That being said, if somebody comes over and there's like, my feelings hurt, and it's going to affect whether you put a meal on the table for your kid, which side are you going to choose?
Check your feelings at the door, my friend.
Right. Yeah. And that's my bubble. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I will, above all, protect my bubble. But in a general consensus, I'm not going to teach my kid to be a dickhead.
Right.
Hold the door for somebody. Say yes, ma'am. No, sir. I don't care what the fuck you fucking identify as. If you look like a he, you're called a he. Okay? I don't give a shit. It's
Yeah.
just manners.
If you're not going to wear a shirt that says, I identify as...
Right.
But then
If your name's
also, at the
name's
same-
fucking Clarice, I'm not gonna call you sir.
Yeah. And at the same time, even if you wear that shirt, don't expect that I'm going to pay attention to that shirt and know exactly what pronoun to
Right.
use.
If you're dressed like a girl but you got a 9-inch dang and you identify and let's say you're a white fucking ginger dressed as a female, but you got a 9-inch penis and you identify as a black man, I'm still gonna say yes, ma'am,
Yep.
because that's what you look like to
You
me.
look like a man to me.
It's not a fucking offense thing. It's how I was raised.
What's bad is when you do it on the phone. Some dudes are hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
And some women are hard to tell too. But
I don't even want to call
Yeah.
Sprint anymore because for some reason Jim sounds like this. Hello, my name is Jim, and I am and I'm like,
may
there's
I
no
help
way
you
in
today?
fucking hell your parents named you Jim. There's just no goddamn way.
Yeah.
Hank Hill? Is that what your name is?
Hello, this is Joe.
Yeah, right.
I'm like,
That's like me
Uh-huh.
saying my name is Shaniqua.
I'll
It
show-
don't fucking fit.
I'm gonna show you a picture of the guys I got to work with every night. The names. I took a screenshot of their names. Every one of them has first name 26 characters long, second name 26 characters long. I'm like,
You're the minority, my friend.
there's no picture. I don't know if this is a female or male.
Right.
So sometimes I'll be like, "Hey guys," delete. Hey,
Folks. Yo, my peeps.
good morning, y'all.
Yeah, like what the fuck? And it's not offensive.
I just
You're
don't
just
know.
trying to keep your dick out of the burner.
Yeah, I don't know what nicka is. I don't
14
know.
consonants and one vowel. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Can I buy a vowel? There's only one.
There's only one.
Would you like to buy
What
a
are you
consonant?
gonna do? Fucking Pat Sajak's over there with a .38 revolver to his head. Fuck this, I'm out. Vanna's like walking down the aisle like a revolving door. I got nothing, folks. You're fucked. You want to go to Hawaii, but you got fucked.
Yeah, fuck it.
I just realized this has become a major bitch session. And I apologize, but at the same time, I want to say you're welcome.
We were due. Sorry. However, I think our bitch session was the most popular episode.
It wasn't.
I think so.
So we
So,
realized also since we came back, although it's been sporadic.
Yeah.
So the first episode, we had several views. The second episode, we decided to make a little effort and make time for, and we got dick. So at this point, we're just finishing us.
Yeah, we're just...
And if you guys don't finish by the time we finish, hopefully our
Yeah.
kids will catch us someday.
It'll be out there
It's fucked up.
when I die.
Can you imagine our kids trying to search for the plethora of shit by the time they're our age? Because my kid will be 30 years from now. Will be my age.
Yeah.
How long until your kid will be at your age? What, 22, 21?
21. Yeah, 20.
21 years.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it'll
21.
be 2042. And my kid, it'll be 2051. The amount of media, quote unquote, loose term, that will be out there by the time.
So,
Do they even have a chance at finding us, you think?
here's the thing. I've got a drive. A hard drive.
Right.
Yeah, I got a hard drive.
You do.
I'm saving
Dirty
as much of
bitch.
this as I can on that hard drive. I had to
Right.
delete several when I was trying to create space and wasn't able to back them up. But what's not out there online, I have a drive.
Right.
with them on there. So if your son can somehow find my son in the future and say, "Hey, give me that backup of that drive that your dad made. It's labeled Aspen Vacation."
Because she was skiing one in both hands.
That just goes back to another conversation. Anyway, it'll be labeled B&J on the rocks. But anyway, I'm trying to have them online and a backup. So if in 30 years our kids want to hear this, it's there. Whether they'll learn anything or go, "Man, my dad was fucked up," I don't know.
Dude, I gotta be honest, like going back through my dad's shit, I was like, my dad was a little fucked up. Like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. That's what it is. Anyway.
I don't know. I hope our kids look back and see this sometime. I just hope they do it after an age of majority. Which yours is good. By the way, John's son getting a tattoo.
Getting a tattoo Friday.
And when you text me about that, I was like, man, he's really grabbing this fucking 18 thing by the horns, wanting to drink, wanting to fucking do this. And then I thought back and I was like, I was 18 when I got my first tattoo.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to think about it. And like, I'm not like thinking about like you and your son and you going to, like, it's not an objective, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not judging. I'm just like, I'm thinking about it because everything I think about shit way too much.
Oh,
it's a
I
curse.
do too, man.
I overthink it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seems young now. But at the time, man, at 18, I thought I had the fucking world by the balls. I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew where I was going to be in 20 years.
Right.
I thought...
I was 19 when I got married.
I cannot imagine that.
I mean, 21 when I had when we
I
had
think
him.
it was great for you, but I just can't imagine for myself. You know?
At the time, I was ready. Now, I'm not so sure.
The thing
No,
is
I was
looking back, you probably realize you weren't ready. But also in the same fact, it's something that made you grow a lot more than you ever would have had you not.
Here's the thing. Yes, I'll agree. And I'll say that too. But at the time, I was ready for the place I was in at the time. I was ready.
Right.
Now, looking back, do I think, okay, I could have taken some
Watch
time,
this.
focused on the music, spend more time doing this and that. Oh, shit. No, I'm better. Anyway, could I have done a lot more of these things, Yes.
Right.
And instead of, she'll never see this, but here's the thing. I spent probably the first 10 years of marriage talking about trying to convince her that,
Sneaky as fuck.
it was okay that I go play music. That I go to this bar because that's where you go to play music. Unfortunately, It's at the bar.
It is what it is.
Yeah, trying to convince her that I'm not going there to pick up chicks. I am not.
Right.
First of all, this, okay, like, this is not going home with somebody else.
You're way too hard on yourself. And if you don't agree, I'll be hard on you.
Oh, yeah. I'll be hard on myself. Anyway, thank you for the drink.
Yeah, it's bad luck to drink alone. Fucking Irish.
fuck it.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
Offend somebody. I don't give a fuck.
But I could have done so many things before I got married, before we had kids, but at the same time, that was the place I was in at the time. So that's the choices we made,
Right.
and I was happy with it. I'm still happy with it. You know?
Right.
Luckily, we've gotten to a place in our relationship where she's like, okay, I see you're not going out to get chicks.
Right. It's just this is what you love.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me and motorcycles. There's sometimes I'm just like, no matter who I'm dating or whatever, I'm like, I'm going to ride. And it's been that way since 2008, 7, when I bought my first bike. Wasn't about, it was 7. It was 2007.
God, was it
Yeah.
that late?
Yeah.
God dang.
Well, I had my first dirt bike at 10, but then I didn't have
Right.
the finances to get a motorcycle until 2007.
yeah.
So
Was that Sportster?
first bike was a Sportster. It's
Okay.
because that's how you're raised, I guess, in the Harley family. It's kind of like, this is going to be your first bike. And then
Yeah.
you get it, and you realize some people are like, oh, I outgrew it. I was on the other side of the spectrum. I was like, the Sportster is literally, it's not a sports bike per today's standards, but I went out with a buddy on a sports bike, and I out-cornered him on that Sportster because it's set so high at a 13.5-inch.
Yeah.
Like,
It
was
did.
just it was just a tall bike.
Yeah.
It's whether you have the balls to lean over a fucking 500-pound bike or not, you know? And it's not at 10 grand. You're not like, me. Harley produces all its torque low. So, anyways, but what I'm saying is, I think different things fit different people. Some people like loose square toe boots. Their fat toes can move around a little bit better.
Yeah.
Some people like a little snug, tight, pointy-toed boot. You got married young. It's what fit you.
Yeah.
And it's human instinct to go, grass is greener on the other side. You can sit there and go, would I do things different? What might have been, whatever. But ultimately, you still don't regret.
No.
Because you know that's what fits you.
The only way it could have happened right is the way it happened.
Right.
I mean, that's...
If I would have got married at 21, I'd have fucked shit up. I'd have had like 3 kids, fucking 4 baby mama, like 3 jobs. I'd be broke as fuck. I'd be like, you know, living in an urban area and racially confused. Fuck, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened.
You never know, man.
I would have lived with an Irish stripper, a white Irish redheaded stripper named Shaniqua, and we would have had 3 chihuahuas.
I remember her.
And I mean, who fucking knows? What I'm saying is, there's a plethora of options, and anybody out there who thinks that they're on a path that it's the only way it can go,
Yeah.
there's so many fucking options, and all of them are right. Can I be wrong there? I mean, all of them are right. It's what you make of it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You're, like I said, you're not going to know.
You're not going to know.
Once you make that decision and go with it, that is now the right option. I mean,
Yep.
that's...
It is what it is.
Because it's not going to go a different way.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only way it's going to go. And, you know, you might fail, you might succeed, who knows? But at
Yeah.
the same time, that's the right decision, you know? But sometimes you just got to make that decision. Now, for anybody out there who's in that place where they got married young or they're in that relationship and they go, you know what, I regret not doing this and I regret not doing that. What I had to finally do was sit down and have a talk with my wife. And I said, look, I'm not doing this to get away from you.
Right.
Like, I had to let her know, look, I'm doing this because, you know, I've wanted to do this all my life. This is all I've ever wanted to do is play music.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing this because I have to do it.
Right.
It's a need. I had to do it, you know. And I still have to do it. I still, you know. Dude, it's the biggest fucking adrenaline rush ever. To get on stage, even when it's in front of 5 people, right?
It
But
just
those
is
5
what it
people
is.
are going, give me more of what you're doing. Give me, you know. Or they get up and leave. I don't know what. I've had both. Either way, being on stage and hearing, you know, doing your thing, right? It's such a rush, man. I can't go to sleep for hours afterwards. That whole turn the page where he's like, you know, hours after the show, he's driving on the bus.
Right.
Echoes from the amplifiers ringing his
Ringing in
head.
your
Like,
head. Yeah.
I've been on that drive. Not hours away from somewhere, but
Technically, if you want to go that route, he was laying in a bed at a hotel because he rode his motorcycle everywhere. I mean, it's like Bob Seger's kind of the blend
True.
of both of us.
right,
I-
yeah.
That's why we're tarnished souls, man.
Yeah, man.
Just another Mexican sunrise.
C'est la vie.
So they say every man has a wife, a mistress, and his whore. You got your wife, the one that's the intelligent decision to make. She's the mother of your children. She's the financial, and this was gauged like 150 years ago, 100 years ago, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Where you make the wise decision. It was 2 families keeping a hold of their wealth, and they matched with other wealthy people. You had your wife. That was the woman you took in public. She was what you took to events. She was the one that had your children, that raised them properly, the way that you were raised, etc. There was your mistress, the one that had your heart, the one that you loved, the one that you nourished, the one that you see where I'm going with this. The one that you really felt like yourself with, but you knew was really never potentially
Not
to
her.
be.
That.
Right. And then you had your whore. The one that really didn't matter. That was replaceable. That was replaceable, but it really got you hard in the dick. You know what I'm saying? And that's been my quandary in life. And I think every man has that. And I don't think it's 3 women per se. I don't think every man has 3 women. But you got your wife.
You got things.
You got your wife.
Yeah.
Right. You got your music, which would be your
a heart, I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's okay. The wife is never the hard one to nail down. The mistress and the whore are the fucking confusing pieces. Because
Man.
I would say, so wife, and I'm not gonna, and this is gonna sound horrible, but would obviously be the son of my mother. Even the fact that we're split apart, she's still there to support me. She still helps me with the business sometimes. She takes care of my kids. She listens to my quandaries. I help her out when we're needed. We will always be caring individuals. It just didn't work out.
Right.
It just got to a point where sleeping in the same bed was something that we didn't enjoy.
You're better apart than together.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That being said, my mistress and my whore are my businesses and my motorcycles.
Yeah.
If it was something I'd want to be doing, I'd always be on these bikes. I'd be fucking in Waxahachie with the saddlebags packed, a 6-foot tall fucking tour pack, tea bag on the back. I would be out there, fucking Bob Seger, knees in the wind, fucking Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, living the dream, no place to call home, always on the move. That's what I'd be. But the same thing is what gives me a boner is a good business deal.
Yeah. I get that. Now, my answer is going to really surprise you.
If it gives me wood, it won't.
Maybe it won't surprise you. Maybe you see me better than I see myself sometimes.
You're hung like a donkey.
True. But that's not where I'm going with this. Anyway,
excuse me. Fucking COVID.
So my wife shit. Again, I had the whole plan. But I saw it all. My wife is my wife. My what was it, mistress, right?
Yes.
Is also my wife.
You're a pervert.
But get this, my whore is my music. Because here's the thing.
It gets you hard?
Here's the thing. It does. And the older I get, the more I go, you know what? I'm not that good. I'm okay. I'm a better writer than I am a singer. And I'm a much better writer than I am a player. So I'm realigned myself as a songwriter first when it comes to music. Singer, player, that's secondary.
Players gotta play.
Oh yeah. but because of that, the music thing, I tried it. I tried to. Obviously, I couldn't go full on to it, right? Because of family and shit.
Obligation.
It happens,
Yeah, you made a decision. You stuck with your responsibilities.
And so
it's respectable.
But that being said, my wife is my wife, and my mistress, the one who, is my heart, is, what gets me up every morning, what gets me, excited, is my wife, and I get excited about music, but at the same time, I'd rather just hang out,
I do that.
Do I love going and playing music? Yes.
Yeah.
It's cool. Once I'm there, I love it.
Right.
But I got to make myself go do it. And so my job falls down there in necessity.
I get that.
It luckily I'm at a point where I'm making good money, and so I'm
The peak.
very lucky to have what I have, and I don't have to do. I do music because I really want to do music, not because that's my source of income. Other guys are in that situation where that's their source of income, and if I was in that situation, would I be in a different spot? Yes. I mean, I would be as fucking like, I'd put all my energy into that.
I respect those people. Same people that spend their lives making money doing music. Same people that make their lives riding on bikes and fucking whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
or
saying?
Or just entrepreneurs. I mean,
it is what it is.
Anybody who's on their own doing their thing, what makes them happy.
I almost respect them morally. Like when I was 25, I would have said somebody that won't provide for their family because they're doing something selfish is irresponsible. You can argue that. Even now, I could still argue that.
Sure.
To an extent, I also have to realize now that we're hitting a point where we're seeing the next generation, including my mentor that has got cancer, and all of a sudden he went from fine to 4 days later thinking he had pneumonia to cancer to 3 months to live.
Yeah.
To the people you talk about seeing in a car accident. They also realize there's a value to living life to its fullest and passing that on to your kids. My son spends 50% of his time with me working, and it scares me sometimes that he thinks that that's going to be that's all there is to life. Because you pass down shit whether you realize it or not.
Yeah.
So that being said, like, I respect it a little more now. And you saying, yeah, I've got this and that and whatever. We're at our peaks now. Whether we realize it or not, we're at our peaks.
Right.
Anything before this, we've struggled to get to. Anything after this, it comes health and the downfall, and our kids are getting old, and we're going to be too old to do the things we love.
That's the problem, as I see that so close on the horizon.
Closer than we realize.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, it's been 21 years since we graduated high school.
But
in 21 years, we'll be at retirement age.
Yeah.
It went like that. We are at the greatest moment in life that we will ever be. We are at the pinnacle of what it means to be successful in our lives. We're at the top of our game.
Yeah.
We're at the top of our parenting. We're at the top of our relationships. We're as mature as we're ever going to get, but also we're as youthful as we're ever going to be able to do it. You're welcome. Fucking be depressed.
Reminds me of a song that I wrote called Young as We'll Ever Be Again.
I thought you were going to say Black
now.
Cadillac, because that's one of my favorites.
I wrote that for him. I wrote that for you, man.
I still
He
cherish
had just
that
bought
CD.
a black Cadillac,
I still cherish that CD.
and I was like, what would Brent do in a black Cadillac? He'd wake up in a stranger's house with a note from some mistress going, I can't wait to party again. That's, yeah. That was a good song.
That was a good year for my life.
It's
a couple
fun.
years, yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I think we got down what we
You think so?
came to get down.
Did we really get down to anything?
Well, I got to piss. And we're at 2 hours.
Are we really at 2 hours?
Well, minus a half hour of
Editing?
God,
don't cut out the good stuff.
Oh, it'll come back in a bonus.
We are about to do a
Was
bonus
that-
episode. Just a bunch of random clips
Yeah,
of fucking us smart-assing beforehand.
yeah. Because there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
So whether anybody watches, whether
Yeah.
it's 6 people or 40 people or 60 views or any combination of anything we've ever had, just know to us, this is like just short of a good orgasm, a good dump, or a good meal.
Yeah.
Because at 40 years old, that's all we got.
That's all we got, man. That's 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So
God, this seems like the Eagles all over again.
take your pick.
Fucking Don Henley's in his grave. Or he's not dead, is he?
He's not dead. Glenn Fry.
Glenn Fry?
Glenn Fry.
He's the one that died?
Yeah.
God, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I guess I'm lucky that way. Which one was that?
They're just lucky they got Joe Walsh in the band.
Oh,
man.
no shit. That was Joe Walsh that sang that song,
I
wasn't
think so, yeah.
I'll never forget. And y'all all look it up. You want to talk about a rebirth of a man? He got married
Right.
to some blonde fucking model or some shit. I don't even remember what she wasn't bad looking for her age either way. And he came out with a solo album. Just like a woman can inspire a man just like that. And he's like,
Right.
I guess I'm lucky that way. And he sang it on Good Morning America. And I was like, man, that is a hell of a fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I only hope someday. I hope I make it to 60. My balls are tucked into my boots. And I'm fucking some hot 25-year-old. And she's just glad to be on the back of my Harley and eat a cheeseburger at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? I think that's all a man can ask for. I'm sorry.
Well,
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm for Clint. I'll give you a topic. Golf balls have more dimples than my ball sack.
they get hit a lot more.
You know what? Golfing and going to a strip club are a lot in common. Have a lot in common. By the end of the night, you're frustrated, you're drunk, you're broke, and most of your balls are missing.
Ain't gotten one hole.
Tim Allen said that. And I'll never forget when I did a report on it when I was a freshman in high school on his book, Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man.
Yeah.
If you like Tim Allen, I suggest you read it.
Great book.
It's a fucking awesome book.
Yeah.
But the teacher, Miss, God, what was her name? You can see her too, I'm sure. She ended up getting breast cancer. Super cute lady.
Matheson.
Yeah. Tina Matheson was her name.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever happened to her. She actually stopped by Pit Stop as she was leaving town with her car pack. She had one of her parents' cars. It was like an 86 fucking Chevy Caprice, like a big box car. And she'd been fighting cancer.
Yeah, I assume she died, but...
And she had her head shaved, and she stopped by the Pit Stop where I was working on 7th Street at the time.
Yeah.
And said she was taking off for Wisconsin or Minnesota or wherever she was from. And I'll never forget that because honestly, like, she was a good teacher.
Yeah.
She stuck in my mind. We had moments. But the fact that 2-3 years later, I was somebody she took the time to stop and say goodbye to
Yeah.
struck me as maybe I'd left as much of an impression on her as she had to me. And that, I mean, even what we're doing here, isn't that
Yeah.
some sense of immortality?
Well, that reminds me of a quote I come up with the other day. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I came up with it a long time ago, several years ago. But I reshared it the other day. Because I thought, I can't write like that anymore for some reason. And that is, that which you experience will never leave you unaffected. Likewise, that which experiences you will cease to remain unchanged.
Did you write that?
Yeah. In
Your
other
balls
words,
just hung 3 inches lower in my mind.
dude, I late at night when I'm drunk,
Oh, I get that.
I write
totally
some
fucking
really amazing shit. And then I'm like, I read it the next day and go, fuck, did I come up with that? But sometimes, you know, you just, you look out into the darkness and go, well, I am just a mere speck, you know? And you let the vastness of the universe take over, and you come up with something that's good every now and then, you know?
I used to write like that, you know, when I was on Facebook and people would be like, you gotta write a book and shit like that. You know, I'd have moments where I quip out good shit.
Oh yeah.
And you and Josh have both actually gone,
Usually about
I'm going
driving.
to take that for a song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, John or, Josh, the other one of you did too. Let's see who comes up with what. Because I don't care. I wish I could have wrote down half that stuff because I think now, as the older you get, the more calloused you are and less open you are to being incitive. Because you're just so tired of the world fucking kicking you in the balls.
Yeah.
And it just becomes, you're just
I'm just
like...
tired.
Just tired. Right. It's just like...
Like, even writing songs, man, like, I ain't come up with ideas in I don't know how long.
Right. No, I get it.
Luckily, I've got a whole lot of music out there that I can keep sharing
Well...
that nobody's heard.
The fucked up thing is like sitting here while we're doing this podcast, right? Yeah. My dad's Harley that I've been working on for like 2 years
Yeah.
is fucking behind us on a lift. And I'm sitting here looking at it. And before now, I've always thought it was just dirty and scrubby. And it's more of a pain in the ass than it is a love. And I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm like, there's something beautiful about it. It's dirty and it's nasty and it's rough but it's been in my life longer than anything else has, even though I wasn't around it for years. I think your songwriting's the same. It's something that's been in your life longer than anything else has,
Yeah.
next to your wife. But even then, you were building up those experiences to write before then, and now you're at a point where you're looking at it like it's a little rough around the edges and you're kind of tired of dealing with it. You got no passion
Yes.
for it.
Well,
Maybe you ought to grab it by the handlebars and hump it into submission, Roll into the throttle a little bit.
yeah.
You know what they say about riding a motorcycle when you're in a sticky situation? Like when you're in a corner and you don't know what to do, like
Yeah.
you feel like you went into it too hot. You know what they tell you?
What's that?
In any rider's course and any riders that's been at it for years, they tell you to lean harder and roll on the throttle. And I think that's a fucking quandary for life. When you feel like you're in shit, there's either two ways it's gonna go. You're either gonna come out hot or you're gonna come out on the bottom. So the only thing you can do is press harder and fucking roll into it.
Yeah. Text me that later because
You're too drunk.
I'm
during
going to
the
write a
radio?
song about it.
Well, we got it on video.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So it'll be all right.
Never mind.
Just
Never mind the
remember-
microphones and the
just-
video camera.
And that's where we are with this. Just remember, lean into it, and roll on the throttle, man.
All right.
Because either way, we're going to finish.
Yes. I will say, though, that being said, the
No, you're good.
You didn't tell me I was walking right through the podcast. You gotta warn me.
I'll be rougher next time. Well, John, you good to go?
yeah,
How much we got on here?
enough.
Enough. That's what she said.
Should we do a sign off?
Might as well.
All right. Well,
Well,
I totally lost my train of thought now.
titties will do that. A lot.
Between 2 and 30, I don't know.
Or 60.
We don't know.
Yeah.
About the songwriting thing.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing because it's while it almost seems like I'm less passionate about it, I'm just waiting on it to come. I know you're gonna take it that way.
That's what she said.
Can't take this guy anywhere.
Either way, I finished.
Either way, we finish. And when it does come, it comes quick. But
Jesus Christ.
so that is episode 34.
34?
34.
We still got 5 years to catch up with us. Wait, how old are you?
What?
Did you hit 40 yet?
No, January.
January.
Yeah.
I thought it was October.
No, that's you.
That's me.
Fucker.
My bad.
That's the running joke. Anyway, anything else you would like to say?
No, I think we got plenty out on this one.
think
I don't
so.
know how much it's actually influential, actually good stuff.
Got some insightful things.
I don't know. The last half, maybe.
Drunk ramblings.
After our, what, third fucking Mexican sunrise?
Well, 2 real ones and a
mixed one.
counterfeit.
Either way.
Either way, we finished. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you at some point again.
Maybe south
And,
of the border?
Maybe south of the
Maybe
border.
south of the border.
You never know.
As long as she's manicured.
Hell, it might be winter by the time we get back together. Anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
See you guys.
Let me be proper.
Cheers.
Pinky up.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Adios.